Hey everyone, hope you're doing well. Checking in, we're going to look at Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, BCH, ETC, all the names that are on Coinbase Pro. Got a storm brewing here down in the Keys, heading into the mainland. Wouldn't really know it by the weather outside, and the weatherman says it's not really a big deal, but the animals are acting strange. The reptiles here. And I've already noticed a bunch of iguanas out today at their unusual times, and they're aggressively crossing the street and getting where they need to go. And after that, walked up on a snake right outside my door who was also doing some moving around, and just unusual times in the middle of the day for them to be doing so. So curious to see if they know more than the weather people do, and if it ends up being a little bit worse. Keeping an eye on that, but should be fine either way. So getting into the weekly time frame for Bitcoin, we already know what it looks like at this point. The candlestick just rolled over. The volume is still not there for the bulls. Binance has a little bit more volume, but the majority of exchanges have a lack of volume. So again, we don't look at the outlier of Binance and say, look, there's big bull volume. We look at everything and we take a picture, a complete picture, and say, okay, well, Binance is a little bit unusual, but everybody else, the volume's not really notable. So we're looking for that lower high. So haven't gotten any signal on the daily time frame for it yet. And right now we're set up for a bull break on the shorter term time frame, so we'll see if that happens while we're doing this video here. But people are talking about the bull MACD cross on the weekly time frame, and at this point it's just barely following through. And you can see we had the same thing last lower high on the weekly time frame. We were pretty much on the verge of a bull break. We just saw those lines overlap with a lack of follow through, and the same thing's going to happen if we pull back here for a couple red weeks. Then we're not going to see that follow through and that move, but could be something to keep an eye on. Again, I just use it as a confirmation indicator. No matter what, I'm always going to default to the trend, and if we aren't breaking the lower high pattern, I don't care what the MACD is doing. It's pretty much going to follow through once we break the lower high pattern. So checking in on the shorter term time frames to see this play that is setting up on Bitcoin right now. We have a couple hours left in this daily candlestick. It is an inside bar, and this daily inside bar is going to be a good signal. So I can say that this signal of an inside bar is likely one you want to be keeping an eye on because of the way that it's setting up on the shorter term time frames. We have a very clear resistance level, and at this point we've rejected from 73.28, 73.23, 29, 25, and now 22. So that's 5 rejections on the 4-hour time frame while keeping the higher low pattern. So that tells me it's an ascending triangle pattern, and we're looking for sometime in the next maybe 5-6 hours, we're looking for either a clear bull break or a loss of these 4-hour higher lows and the start of daily consolidation. And the bulls are still favored because the last higher low was 71.93, and we're currently much closer to a bull break of resistance, about $40, to a bear break, about $100. So bulls extremely strong and confident overall at this point. And look at the hourly time frame for all these tops, and let's draw now our support line for the ascending triangle. Right there is where I would put it here on the hourly chart. You can see the ranges are tightening. The most conservative traders for bulls are going to use the hourly higher lows, 72.49, and everybody else is going to be watching the 4-hour higher lows. And the thing about a resistance level like this is the more times you reject from a resistance level, the more bulls are going to take profit under that resistance, and the more bears are going to establish top fishing plays just at that resistance as well. But if and when it does break, it's a very clear bull signal, and it's a very clear signal for shorts to cover. So it's almost like we're just building up tension, pulling that rubber band tighter, and then when it snaps, if we do get a clear bull break, I would expect to go to 7,400 very quickly once 73.30 does break. And I want to give it a couple extra dollars to ensure that bull break does occur. But if I had the alert system signaled with a daily inside bar, and if we don't break before this daily candlestick forms, the signal is going to go off at 73.24, giving a potential heads up. But I expect all of those resistance levels to break all at once if the bulls do get the follow through. And if they do, we will see an hourly bull volume spike similar to one that we just saw, but it will result in a break of those resistances. So that's something we're keeping an eye on. I can say very clearly that overnight tonight, we're going to see action. We're either going to lose the 4-hour uptrend, which has been in play at this point ever since August 30th, so about 3-4 days, or we're going to see a clear bull break and continuation on this daily chart into a zone with a lack of resistance, and that bull break will make that weekly chart just a little bit more favorable every time we get follow through, a little bit more favorable for the bulls on the weekly time frame. I should say the bulls gain a little bit of ground in terms of the percentage of which direction we're going to break, which does still favor the bears. But if we get another leg up to 7,400, those percentages are going to shift just so slightly. So we've pointed out the shorts chart. The shorts are still high. We haven't seen much covering, pretty much where they were up at the top there. And there's a lot of speculation on, what this is. And again, one of the possibilities of this is wash trading with someone entering short positions, and with that, selling into their bids. And the reason, again, it's all speculation. I don't like to spend too much time on speculation because we don't know the answer, and we're probably never going to know the answer. So again, it always just defaults back to price action. But if the price of the stock or the commodity is not moving, and you see this significant number of positions being opened, that tells me we could absolutely be seeing wash trading, and wash trading is illegal in the stock market. It's not illegal here in the crypto world. It's illegal to a certain degree if you're doing it a certain way. And I saw people in 2014 that I was following on a forum, they went to jail because they were doing this in USMJ penny stocks, the marijuana sector, and they were doing it illegally, and the SEC got them. So it's not illegal to do it here. And like I said, that's the most likely reason where I see the price not moving when all these shorts are being opened. Yes, it could just be a large bull absorbing all the short action, but you have to ask yourself, why would shorts see the most aggressive day that we have ever seen since the data on Bitfinex has come available, the most aggressive opening of shorts when Bitcoin is not overbought on any time frame? As those shorts were opening up, we weren't overbought on the 4-hour, we weren't overbought on the daily, and we're not overbought on the hourly. So why would the bears be making their most significant push? That's the kind of candlestick you would expect to see if there were terrible news and everybody's rushing in knowing without a doubt we're going down, rather than building a position into strength. It just doesn't make sense to me for someone to be that aggressive, or even a whole bunch of people to be that aggressive without overbought RSI levels. So that's what I'm keeping an eye on this 4-hour pattern for Bitcoin. Ethereum, still weak. And one of our analyst chart guys, James, who does commodities a bunch and options, but he was noting the 4-hour inside bars on Ethereum and how they've been giving great signals over the past few months. And most of them are bear signals. We did get one bull signal in here, but we had a bear signal here with the inside bar bear break at 656. We had another one down here at 445. And here's multiple inside bars, and we're going to be looking for a break this week. A bear break would be 271.32, which would likely lead to another move down under 250, and a bull break would be above 302.20, which would have us looking to just set another weekly lower high. That's how comfortable the bears are. Worst case scenario for the bears, we set a weekly lower high. Best case scenario for the bears, we dump down to another leg with a lack of support and look down at the next support level of 202, essentially. So getting real tight on Ethereum. Daily chart definitely looks like a bear flag. We used to have some higher lows. If we lose the daily higher lows, the odds of that weekly bear flag increase significantly. And we look at the HitBTC chart, we're down to lower lows now. So we've been watching this daily lower high pattern. I keep saying I'm not interested in Ethereum as long as this chart is in a downtrend, because Bitcoin's the better bull to be going with. And here we just continue to see that. 419, lower high was 417, and now we've dropped down to a lower low. And again, the weekly chart, we just don't have any support down here. We're looking all the way down at 2.3 as the next clear support level. So bears are still in control of this trend, which means bears have a better choice of ETH comparative to BTC right now, and bulls are better off with other altcoins or BTC. So as far as the 4-hour time frame goes for here, again, we're nowhere near a bull break. You look at Bitcoin on the verge of resistance, and Ethereum has just been pulling back for the last couple of days. The Litecoin on the weekly chart also just setting lower highs. We did get an inside bar bull break, so it's not as weak as Ethereum, but we're not doing anything to change the trend. Anything under 94.39, which is almost 50% to the upside, anything under that level is just a lower high. The daily chart, if we lose higher lows, we are confident that our weekly lower high has been set. The last higher low is here at 58.58, and the bulls are trying to form a higher low compared to that level. Multiple daily inside bars forming. Not a very convincing move for the bulls overall, but a little bit stronger than Ethereum. And we're going to have to wait for weekly trend changes, just like we're waiting on Bitcoin. We're going to be waiting for Ethereum and Litecoin as well. They're just a lot further away from any kind of trend change on the weekly time frame taking place. So we can be watching the Ethereum. The daily inside bars are giving us an equilibrium 4-hour pattern, and we're going to look for that to break sooner rather than later. 64.44 to 66.49 is the range we're currently in. So keeping an eye on that Litecoin break that is imminent. BCH USD has seen some of the bigger bull moves the past couple of days out of these major names. But again, weekly time frame, anything under 888 is just a lower high. And here we need a 35% move just to get to that resistance. So a weekly lower high is very likely, and the daily chart losing our higher low pattern will indicate that our weekly lower high is likely set. It's the same for everybody that we're watching. And right now, the last higher low is 525. We're looking to form another higher low here as well. Solid bull volume on this move up. Again, the last 2 days, the bulls went from 541 up to 659. That's a significant bull move. That's almost 30% or so. And obviously a lot of opportunity there in the short-term move. Now we're going to see, can we maintain higher lows just like Bitcoin's looking to do in order to see continuation of this daily bounce. 4-hour time frame, pretty much the same as Litecoin, same pattern. High, low, lower high, getting real tight here and looking for a break. Then within this range, the last 20 hours, support is 622.33 and resistance is 636.99. So real tight on Litecoin and BCH. We know a break is imminent. And just by looking at Bitcoin, we know a break is imminent here as well. Although there's a little bit more space for Bitcoin to work with. I wouldn't be surprised for BCH or LTC to break their 4-hour patterns first. Look for that as a potential signal. And oftentimes we have lots of members pointing out, altcoins making their breaks before Bitcoin do. And oftentimes that can shift the odds of which direction we're going to break a little bit. So pointing out earlier, one of our members pointing out that Dash had a bull break and that Bitcoin usually follows. And we did see some upside action from Bitcoin after that. So watch to see how BCH and LTC break if they do break before Bitcoin does. That could give us a little bit of information and a little bit of clues. ETC USD had such a beautiful setup. And this is the kind of thing where I completely forgot that I can now trade ETC. So I even charted this 2 days ago. I pointed the very clear setup, the double top of resistance, the bulls getting ready for the break. And I just completely forgot that I could make that trade. So we are now on Coinbase Pro and we are adding it to the alert system, ETC USD, for Coinbase Pro. It's live right now, but we're populating data before those alerts get live. And we had just a very clear setup where we had the high, low, lower high, higher low, lower high in the same candle. That is possible, although it is rare. Another higher low, another lower high, then a higher low. And you can see we got really tight. And when I posted this chart, it was a double top at 1338 and 1339. So then we can zoom in. The inside bar bull break would have given a signal for follow through. But if you look at the hourly time frame, this is a really nice, actually the 4-hour, a really nice cup and handle pattern. And almost textbook here where we have, the only difference is we did get a penny bull break. But again, when it's a penny like that, I call that a double top, which again, it's not technically, you wouldn't put this in a textbook because the right side of the cup was not lower than the left side by 1 penny, but it's enough for me to call that a double top. And certainly that pattern still saw the follow through. So we had the inability to break resistance, the healthy consolidation in the flag pattern, and then the bull break and turnaround. And obviously the huge volume spike when that breakout did occur. So a stop buy with a bull break over 1339 would have worked in this scenario and significant follow through. So we went from 1339 bull break, and on that move in the first 1 hour, we went straight up to 1440. So that's very significant. That's a dollar move. That's about 7% or so. And now we've seen nothing but little higher lows and continuation on the hourly time frame. Short-term support is 1470. Next support after that level is down at 1385. And we'll see if these bulls can keep control on this move. And obviously they will benefit if we get Bitcoin going. Next resistance on the daily chart, if we get over 1449, is 1495. So there's nice space to the upside. Significant shift in momentum after this equilibrium played out, and a great sign for the bulls overall. So that's where we stand. We'll continue to check in on this Bitcoin chart all night because we are going to get a break and some action pretty soon. Just let's see if posting this video does it. I usually get some tight patterns going. And that's that. Let's look at some Canadian MJ names. Look at this. Look at these weekly charts. So first off, we know what the Bitcoin weekly chart looks like. Just as a refresher, there it is. That's Bitcoin. Let's put Litecoin next to it. We know Litecoin's very similar. So the bottom line is there's a lot of charts on the weekly time frame that look very similar. We topped out in December or January, and we've been consolidating ever since. Look at these names right now, and look at how similar they look to the price action that we're seeing in the cryptocurrency space. This is N. This is a Canadian MJ name. We hit the all-time high back in December, and we've been consolidating ever since, and we just saw the bull break of that consolidation with some follow-through. This is Fire. So Fire on the weekly time frame, same exact story. All-time high, consolidation, bull break. Look at the change in trend and the follow-through that we got when that trend finally changed. Now HVT, less progressed on that bounce, but attempting to change the trend. Again, the same thing. So one more, VIVO, and I could do this for a long time. I could keep firing up these charts that are all the same pattern and all getting their bull break. So what I'm pointing out is, number one, there's no correlation, in my opinion, between MJ and crypto, aside from the fact that high-risk traders looking for speculative markets and big volatility are trading them. Like myself, trading both markets. That's a correlation. But other than that, I don't think the prices are related to each other. So why I'm pointing these charts out is because charts are depicting human emotion as they have done for over 200 years since they were invented in the 1800s. This is showing a speculative hype market that ran to all-time highs at the same time and then consolidated significantly at the same time for the first 7-8 months of this year. And we're now just changing the trend in Canadian MJ. There was a spark to change that trend, fundamentally speaking. It was the fact that a large alcohol company, put in $4 billion to the sector leader. Everybody woke up in the sector and said, all right, consolidation is done. And we changed these trends. And you can see the trend changes were marked by a lower high, higher low, higher high bull break. And they changed in different ways. But the bottom line is, this is what I'm looking to happen in the cryptocurrency space. Now, whether it happens this current move that we're in, or whether we do see another leg down before it happens, I don't know. But again, this is what happens. We see massive hype and euphoria. Those emotions wear off. We see all the despair and all the consolidation emotions, and then things change and the bulls come back in control. So I am looking for this to happen in the cryptocurrency space, and it's just really cool to see a glimpse into the future almost of it happening in the cryptocurrency space as well. And this is why, I'm excited for when the weekly trend changes, because we will see some significant bull opportunity again. And, you look at this move on VIVO and you say, well, that's hardly a move at this point, but it was a 118 move up to 182. So we did see a 50% move in just 2 weeks. So obviously there's some nice opportunity there. And let's see how this little glimpse of the Canadian MJ sector, let's see how that translates into what the cryptocurrency sector does in Q4 2018. That's all we got. I hope you all continue to do good things. Been fortunate enough to help out a friend recently who was in a tough spot, and it got me reflecting on society and the world and the universe. And I found it really amazing that how we value input into the society through dollars. What I do is click buttons, and what someone else does and what they contribute to society, and whether or not their skills can easily be monetized in this westernized capitalistic society, doesn't have anything to do with the kind of person they are. You can be an extremely wonderful person, one of the best people that I know, and not be good at making money, because that's just the way that it is. It doesn't mean you're lazy and not doing anything. It just means your skill set is not as highly valued in this culture. So when I see people struggling financially, I find it amazing that other people can potentially look down on those people. Oh, you should make it, get a job and do this, when in reality, this culture was sculpted to a certain kind of personality type to thrive. And there's multiple other kinds of personality types that are not poised to thrive in this current society that we live in. So the fact that I'm good at pushing buttons and I know the right time to push buttons, I get rewarded significantly more than someone who can make some really cool glass sculptures or some really realistic paintings or cool designs and things like that, to the degree of thousands of percent more, which just doesn't make sense to me. And when I really started to think about it, I laughed out loud to myself on the drive when I was thinking about this, because really good people at clicking buttons, people that are really good at knowing when to click buttons, can make more money and be rewarded more for their skills than people who know how to put body parts in other people to keep them alive. And that just blew my mind. But that's really what it all boils down to, and that's what we're doing, clicking buttons. So always have to keep perspective. And again, just because somebody is struggling financially, it means absolutely nothing about the kind of person that they are. So I will gladly always help the people that I know are good people from hanging out with them and interacting with them when it comes to monies. I use the analogy, I've used it before. If I was a potato farmer and had 10,000 pounds of potatoes and more than I need, I would easily share those potatoes and you would easily accept them. Why does it being money change things? So that's that. Hope you have a good holiday today. We're back into the swing of the market tomorrow, and we'll see how this pattern does break. Keep an eye on it. Gonna happen tonight. Thanks again. See you soon.
Pigs! Piggies! I got some food. I got some food for you. I got some food. I got some food. Oh yeah. Get it. that good? You like that, Boom? Good stuff?
Those I dropped my pen.